Hi everyone, we're Sahanda Nakane, climbing together in Indianapolis in the United States. This past few months, we spent every weekend in this beautiful Red River Gorge to work on some 512 routes, especially the style that we haven't actively tried before. That includes a vertical pumpy 512B and the 512D called Jesus Wept, which has a bouldering-like start and small pockets for the rest. This video will explore our fall season efforts on outdoor sport climbing. In the middle of August, after some weeks of summer training, we came back to Red River Gorge in Kentucky to start our sport climbing season. It is still hot and humid, but we wanted to take time to get back to the outdoor sport climbing shape before the fall comes. Temperature is great in the morning and evening here, and even having some hot tea is not a bad idea. Especially this high-quality tea from our South Korean friend made our morning just perfect. After breakfast, we're heading to the first sport climbing of the season. Last year, Sahan sent his first outdoor 512A, and I got my first 12A earlier this year in spring. We both have got a few more 12As after that. But those were relatively short, overhanging climbing with good holds but powerful moves, because they're more similar to indoor climbing and look fun. So in this season, we wanted to work on long, vertical walls with smaller holds, which we haven't really tried much here in Red. On our first day, we came to one of the most popular crags in Red, the Motherlode. The Motherlode is home to a number of 512 and 13 routes. Some 12 routes are characterized by pure enduro climbing of continuous scrimps, which is perfect for our objective of this season. We first tried Chainsaw Massacre 512A. This is a kind of intro to Motherlode route, and we wanted to see that feeling. This is a pure endurance route, and people say it's pretty boring because it's just the same move, mainly crimps, all the way to the top. No unique sequence or outstanding crux, just simple climbing back to back. There is a small crux right here, but it's more about fighting with your forearm pump. After this crux, it's only a few more bolts, but this route is unbelievably pumpy and clipping is so desperate for the last few bolts. You can see from my move that I'm so pumped. We tried this route for a few times during the season, and we both could pass this small crux, but then we're so pumped at this point and couldn't get to the top. This route requires only forearm endurance, so we need a few more training cycles and we should be ready. We decided to come back when we have better forearm endurance. Right next to Chainsaw is a popular route called L81. They say it's got more nice moves and actually easier than Chainsaw despite the grade. And that was true. We found this more fun and doable. There are some small cruxes, especially for short people, like this one. Unlike Chainsaw, you better remember every single sequence, especially around the cruxes, which makes it more fun to work on. One time we were climbing on this and Nina Williams came to hop on it. There are a few people in line after us, so she went somewhere else, but I guess it's such a good route that she wanted to warm up on it. After this long rest is the biggest crux of the route. Again, the move is not super hard, it's just a big fight with your forearm. Since it was more fun but still endurance focused, we decided to work on this during the season. But the main project of the season was actually somewhere else. One of our friends recommended the beautiful 512D route named Jesus Wept, which is in the area called the Sanctuary. After 10 minutes of approach through the forest, you see a beautiful rock face with sunshine. It goes through the obvious chalky line. It's under the direct sun in the morning, making it look so graceful. Jesus Wept has 3 main cruxes, and you face the first one right after you start. It's more overhang than it looks, and you have only crimps. You want to go to the big jug above, but reaching that requires a specific beta. Even if you reach the jug, clipping the third draw is so uncomfortable. Actually, on our first day working on this route, we saw somebody decked here. The climber was trying to clip the third draw and fell to the ground. Seeing that made us even more nervous for this clipping, and we couldn't pass this point on our first day. Eventually, after working on the beginning part, we ended up with different beta. The first few moves are the same, but from here, I go under clink, switch foot, and left crimp. Sahand goes left crimp first and under clink. Then I go to additional crimp to the right, bring up left foot, lock off to the jug. But Sahand from here goes straight to the jug, which is really cool and nice for taller people. Then finally we can clip the third draw. This was a really cool bouldering problem, but you're only 20% done on this route. The remaining 80% is all vertical, and some portions are with small pockets, which is what we wanted to focus on this season. After clipping the fourth draw comes the next crux. We were in Red almost every weekend from late September to mid-November. We witnessed the transition from summer to fall, and the views you can get here are breathtaking. The only drawback is that it's packed in fall.
Motherlode parking lot. Expect this if you climb in fall.
Since we're weekend warriors and had only Saturday and Sunday, our weekend looked like this for this season. Driving to Red Friday evening, working on Jesus Wept on Saturday, and late on Sunday. And we stayed at the campground. The second crux is probably minor for tall people, and Sahan didn't have much problem either, but it took some time for me to figure out. It's a big lock off on your left. Nice, Sahan. After the second crux, you can finally get a good rest. After the second crux, you have a descent climbing up to the final crux. The final crux is right below the little roof. This is the section where you find 4 or 5 small pockets back to back. There are some shallow 2-finger pockets too, so I had to be precise in my sequence. And here is the crux. There are some beta to go to one of the holes below the roof, depending on your height, finger size, and technique. After trying all options, I found going dynamic had the best chance. When I practiced the move, I could get it 80% of the time. Now the question is, can I get it after climbing all the way without asking for a take? There are 2 more bolts after this, but the rest is all like 5'9", so if you get this final crux, you're technically done. Sahant had a different beta. He goes to the small pocket on the right instead of going directly to the ledge. It's also far, but he found this the best for him. One day, when we were practicing the final crux, our rope got damaged. We had this core shot and we had to cut this part of the rope. It's because of the repeated falling at the crux, and it looks like the carabiner was the cause. This route has permanent draws, and for the draw we kept falling, this extension was attached. It has a slight groove, which caused the rope damage, and we had to replace this extension, even though it doesn't look sharp at all. After a few weekends working on L8, we kind of got tired of it, so we jumped on another 512A called Burlier's Bane in the same crag. The feature is very different, even though it's just a few routes away from L8 and Chainsaw. As you can see, the holes are relatively big, and there are not particular crux. They say it's one of the softest 12A in red, and the most recent guidebook shows it 11D, although it remains 12A in Mountain Project. Since it wasn't as endurance intensive as Chainsaw and L8, we were able to finish it within a few times.
Nice.
That is fair, but you know.
This was good. I got a little pumped at the top on the jug.
That's awesome.
Because, yeah, I haven't had flash pump yet, so this is it, I guess.
That's great. Off to the next one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
L8. We got so close, but we couldn't get it on our final day. We definitely need more forearm endurance to finish it.
Height, come on, Akane. Nice, Akane. So strong. Come on.
This is the final day we traveled to Red this season. It was the beginning of November, and we got unlucky to have the first snow of the season. It wasn't snowing in Kentucky, but we had small hail. Definitely cold for climbing. But this is the last chance we got for Jesus Wept for the season. Let's see how it goes. So here we go, this is our final red point attempt on Jesus Wept of the season. Sahan struggled on this first crux for some time, but he is looking great, especially that low temperature is helping him with friction. After the second crux, this is the first rest point to recover. The midsection is not a big deal, although he is getting pumped. Now before the final crux, there is a little resting spot. He'd want to recover here as much as possible to give his best. But then he starts slowing down. I think he's fighting with his pump. Gamba sa hand. But then now it's my turn. When I started climbing, I wasn't feeling my fingers at all. It was so cold and I don't usually climb very well in cold weather. Maybe I didn't warm up enough, but nothing has really helped in cold temperature. I just need to be on the wall to function. Nevertheless, I somehow managed to pass the first two cruxes. And as I take a rest here, blood gradually came back and I was finally feeling good. This is the second rest before the final crux. Surprisingly, I was feeling pretty well, and I was encouraging myself to send this today. Now approaching the final crux, I was so nervous. I held it for 2 seconds but couldn't stick to it. So dark. Can you see?
Yeah, it's very clear. And
Nice.
it's 6 p.m.
Nice.
And here is the Jesus Wept. You can see all these
Really?
chalky holes.
Wow. That's cool.
Dark.
How was the day?
It was very good condition, very crispy.
Yeah. That concludes our sport climbing season. We couldn't send our projects, but getting this close on the 512D gave us confidence. It was our first time projecting a route, and it was a great experience. We're very motivated to train more and come back strong next year. This is the end of sport climbing season, and bouldering season is coming up. We already made a trip to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and made some progress from last year. So stay tuned for future videos. Thank you for watching the video. We will explore more sport climbing and bouldering crags and routes in the future. Please subscribe and support us if you liked the video.